Hello everyone, I am Marko Mudrinic. I will be your host today. Today is January 23rd, 2024. This is our weekly SIG release meeting. I'm reminded that this meeting is being recorded. It will be publicly available on YouTube, and it's also covered by CNCF and Kubernetes Code of Conduct, which boils down to be excellent to each other. We have relatively light agenda for today, but before we begin, please put your name in the meeting minutes. I shared the agenda link earlier, but I will repeat it also again in chat. And let's get started. Before we start, I would like to welcome any new members. If you're new, please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Brian Cho. I work at Microsoft. I actually work under Jeremy's team on upstream publishing. I'm relatively new to industry. I've been out of college for a little over a year now, so just trying to get my feet wet, learn as much as I can about Kubernetes and ecosystems. So that's why I'm here. Thanks for having me, everyone.
Welcome. Do we have anyone else who would like to introduce themselves?
Yeah, hi, I'm Daniel from Germany. I'm a platform advocate for a small local cloud provider where I focus on promoting Kubernetes and related cloud native projects and how clients can integrate them with our products. Yeah, same as Brian, I just want to get my feet wet into the whole SIG stuff around Kubernetes and just trying to contribute upstreams.
Nice to see you all. Welcome. Do we have anyone else who would like to introduce themselves?
Sure, I'll go. Hi, my name's Nigel. Mostly active in SIG Contrabex. Here for SIG release as one of the release shadows for enhancements for the 1.30 release. So wanted to come to some SIG release meetings as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Tyler. I'm also in the same place as Nigel, also an enhancement shadow for 130, and also here to just sit down and say releases.
Nice to see you all. Welcome. Anyone else, maybe? Okay. By the way, if you would like to introduce you, you're free to do that anytime at our SIG release Slack channel. And with that, we will start with the sub-project updates, release engineering. I can quickly go on patch releases. The patch releases for January went out without any significant issue, besides the two of known issues. The first one being that replicating signatures is broken, and the other issue that we can't send emails to Kubernetes dev. Other than that, everything else went pretty fine. We didn't observe any issues with packages and building. I think most of them were built under half an hour, so this is pretty good. The next patch releases are scheduled for February, 14 February to be concrete, with the cherry peg deadline being February 9th. If you have anything that you would like to ship for that release, keep in mind those dates. We will also set the reminder once we get close to the cherry peg deadline. And yeah, for OBS packages, we have a quick update from Nitish. Nitish, do you want to tell us a little bit more about this?
Sure. So a general update over the things that have been done for the OBS CLI tool. So we just encountered that there needs to make some minor changes on the library that we have made it. So for example, there are certain minor changes that we need to make, and probably once we are done with that, we are most probably ready to use one of its feature in our existing CLI tool. The PR has already been opened, but it's in work in progress. And we will mostly be ready with the first set of use case for this OBS CLI tool, probably within by the next week. So we'll be ready to use this tool internally, and later on with time we can improve more of its features and enhance the library as needed. But for now, the PR has been opened. It's still work in progress, and there are a set of reviews that are needed as well. So that's it from my side.
I forget to unmute myself, but thank you for the update. I will keep an eye on the PR. If you have anything that you need input or review, please ping me on Slack and we will figure it out. And as of my update about the OBS packages, so actually the most of work and most of focus is going towards preparing for legacy package repos going away, which is supposed to happen this month. I am working on a script to build legacy packages and create a local repo for users that might be affected by this. And this is based on our old specs that we had before removing Rapture stuff from a K release repo. And I am planning to publish a blog post on Kuberentes IO that's going to talk a little bit about this and how you can do all this and how you can mitigate if you are affected by this. That's perhaps to go out once the reports are out as well, although we don't really have any idea when is this going to happen, but we will keep an eye on it. Do we have any questions about patch releases or OBS packages so far? Okay, I will take that as a no. Supply chain security. Do we have anyone to provide an update?
I have a related update. So last Tuesday, Wednesday, I went back to the SIG security tooling meeting to continue the discussion about producing the enhanced, the new refreshed and enhanced security feed for Kubernetes. So this project is a multi-SIG effort, and the idea is to improve the process of disclosing and internally processing whenever vulnerability gets found in Kubernetes. So the flow currently is that the project gets a report, the product security committee reviews it, they may work on a patch, coordinate the disclosure, then they hand it over to SIG release to ensure that we publish the information and also make sure that the patches are in place before cutting a new release. And that one gets, the information gets also published via the Kubernetes security feed, and lots of other people in projects feed of that information. Right now, the process is sometimes manual, sometimes it travels through different formats and files, and the idea is to unify that. So we're coordinating with SIG Security to improve that. And there was some progress during the last meeting. So the current plan is to maybe open 3 new KEPs to ensure that those get reviewed as fast as possible and that they can move independently. I was trying to find the document to link it here, but I can't find it. But so the idea would be to perhaps have release engineering handle 1 or 2 of them and SIG security 1 of them. So probably 1 on their side, 1 on our side, and maybe coordinate on a 3rd one. Obviously, the main. Why can't I find the document? Well, I'll link it in the agenda later today. So 1 involves the new feed, its format. 1 involves the ensuring that we capture that information in the release process, and finally the other one is meant to produce a tool to update that feed. So there's nothing concrete yet. It's still on the idea phase, but hopefully we'll get something more concrete soon, so that we can open for contributions from others and maybe some demos soon.
Thank you very much for such a detailed update. I'm looking forward to that work moving on. I hope that I will be also able to help once. I think Applied Focus is going a little bit on the legacy stuff and legacy packages. I hope that I will be able to join once we are done with that. And do you folks have any question for Adolfo about supply chain security? Okay. And for artifact validation, that's the next topic. I personally think that we don't have any update. Maybe we see some of the progress on Sasha is back, I think next week. But for now, if there's anything you would like to pick from the project board, there's a link in the agenda. If you click on artifact validation, please do so, and please feel to reach out to us. And yeah, I think this must it. The next on agenda we have release team. Kat, do you want to provide a quick update? What's going on?
Yeah, so we've got 31 enhancements opted in right now. We're about 2 weeks out from enhancements freeze, so that feels healthy enough for me. We do have a failing test on master blocking, and we're supposed to cut the first alpha next week. But there is a PR awaiting review, so I'm not hyper concerned about that, but Mark does know. So we're keeping a close eye on it. But otherwise, there's nothing juicy going on in the release team. It's early days yet.
Okay, thank you for the update. Any question for the release team? Okay, I will take that as a no. And we can go on to the open discussion. And the first topic is from Laurie. Laurie, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. So I guess this does relate to artifact validation, as there's an item in the board on getting user data about who users and downstream consumers of Kubernetes releases are. So Jeremy shared with me the LTS survey data, and I've actually gone through some of that in a very superficial level and made a couple of charts, which I've provided the link to. Those charts isolate questions that seem relevant for the artifact validation issue. And I interpret that rather broadly. So I'm wondering if a couple people here might be interested in going through that data giving it a closer look together, and then we can see what exactly the data is telling us about our that's meaningful to our artifact validation efforts. And then if there's any other unanswered questions where we might need to send out a smaller, more targeted survey to get the data that we need. Because I don't see too much about the actual images, image expectations, but it might be implied in some of the data. I just haven't had a chance to look too closely about it yet. Oh, thanks, Veronica. Yeah, it's just the Google skills. The nice Insta charts you can make there. That's all I did. So who wants to actually go through the data with me and answer some of those questions? I predict it would take maybe 2 or 3 hours, but it could go shorter.
I could, but I don't know if you would prefer someone who has been attending every single one of the meetings of the LTS group.
I mean, this is really about the artifact validation work. So it's really just what from this data can we apply to our efforts in terms of how do we prioritize the work that needs to be done. When we talk about the image promoter tool, is there anything in the data that's relevant to our efforts to look at that tool and figure out if it's working and supporting the process as we need it to. We've talked in
Yeah.
the past about the whole process itself.
Yeah.
So it's that. So I don't think you need LTS knowledge.
Okay,
at all.
good. Nice. So I am thinking 2 people to organize this with you, like 2 people from us for redundancy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this is an open question specifically for my leadership peers. I don't know if we prefer to wait for Sasha since he did a bunch of the work to detail out the diagrams and the things that Laurie just mentioned. Otherwise, Puerco said that he can join, so we could do it together.
Yeah, I think we usually get either Adolfo or Sasha because of the issue in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So I'll need to figure out the timing, but we can figure that out. Yeah, I want to make decisions in this meeting. I want it to I know. Just for everyone else who might not be as familiar with my working style, like I want us to get in there, look at the data, come to some concrete decisions that we can use to drive work in a focused way that's reflective of users' needs for at least the artifact validation goals that we've got on our project board, and thinking ahead of it as well, like what comes next.
Okay, great. So I think for this, the more the merrier, in my humble opinion, because it's a big project.
I don't want to get bogged down in a lot of discussion. We can always make it transparent.
The more the merrier in terms of like still small, like let's say 4 people instead of 2. From our side, at least like Nigel said that he would be happy to observe. So obviously you're welcome to do that. But I meant more like, sorry for everyone else, but I meant more like if Puerco is available and Jeremy is available and I'm available, I think that would be great actually, because we have struggled with big projects where only one of us takes care of it and then the rest of us are a bit lost. So I think it'd be great.
Yeah. That's a great point
So
you're making.
I have actually some comments about that. I had a chance to look into the data and I know about this survey, and I have a feeling that this kind of data is not going to help much for artifact validation, because this is really about what Kubernetes version people are using. And in that case, yeah, it's probably not going to provide a lot of data. However, there's one very important question there. This is about the regulatory constraints and about what people are using. So before we do a sort of a meeting, maybe we could try to research. I mean, at least, I don't know, maybe other folks have some better idea about what each of those are actually requiring from the regulatory side, and to try to figure out if we can scope or work with that. As far as if, for example, PCI, FedRAMP, those are some like the most common ones, to see is there anything that artifact validation can help here. I think this is probably the most we can take out from that survey. So maybe we should try to focus our work there, but those are my 2 cents.
I have a dumb question. Maybe I missed, but are you looking at something? Because
Yeah, there's a link in the agenda. I'm going to share it in the sub chat as well.
What do others think about what Marco is suggesting? I mean, Jeremy, you're most acquainted with both goals, what LTS is doing and what this group is doing. Do you agree? Yeah, maybe not.
Is this document for our own use, or?
I'm not sharing it because I'm just trying to compile charts and I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just to make the data available in a chart form. And then I'm still working on it.
Okay, I'm still, if you want to, I don't know, discuss it, I'm still happy to go over each of the questions and see if they may tell something. But yeah, it's a lot, Ken. It's okay. Or we can jump into the document or a copy of it and add comments, whatever works.
I think the primary question is this data useful or not for the artifact validation effort? I think that's all we need to really figure out right now. Like, does it merit waiting for some time to go through this data on behalf of the artifact validation effort? Is it going to be relevant? Or should we just focus on what Marco is suggesting, that column, where we analyze the different security requirements, the regulations, and then start there and think about what people may need from this release process? Yeah, so Jeremy agrees. Not sure how useful it will be. It's worth a look. Yeah, definitely. I would agree, probably an hour, given the discussion that we're having right now.
Yeah, most of the questions are about. So we did have a track on our SIG release mission and North Star document, so to speak, about making our artifacts more consumable. And some of these questions are related to how easy it is for you to upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would need to go into the data, but they seem more related to that and more relevant to that track.
There's a lot of upgrade. It's not just the release version you're using or not. I mean, there's like more than 30 questions here, and it definitely goes into the upgrading realities, and people do describe their realities, and we get some interesting anecdotes about what they're experiencing. So to your point, Adolfo, then I think we would look for that kind of information and notice patterns. And I'll keep making charts with that in mind.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the broader environmental context by which people are trying to upgrade. It's sort of like, and then we want to get eventually that specific artifact validation related content, like the images, the questions that we have in our item here, the integrity of the binaries, the images, documents, that kind of information.
Yeah,
how people are using the images.
So the way I see it is you have this artifact validation layer, and then once you know that what you have is you can ensure the integrity and the authenticity of those, then this sort of question can happen.
Yeah.
And then there's a split on, are we doing a good job in releasing consumable artifacts? And some of them fall under the SIG release realm, and some of them may not. But we would need to go into each of them, and I'm happy to go through them with you, and so that we can focus more. If you think if that makes the planning easier, for sure.
Okay, so what I will do is I will continue working in my copy doc of the original data to make it consumable for others in this group to check it out with a little less friction. And then what we can do is a meeting of an hour or two where we actually discuss the key findings and think about what that data is saying in terms of what this group should be working on next, or the issues that we need to address.
Yeah, for sure. Ping me if I can be helpful. Mostly here in the, on this side of the time zones, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, also feel free to ping me. Maybe we can wait for Sasha to get back next week and then organize 1-hour meetings similar to that we had before holidays. And then we go through this data and see where we are standing with artifact validation and try to see how are we going to proceed.
Do we need Sasha? I mean, like, is he we have a couple leads right here. Do we need Sasha? Or can we move forward with who we've got?
Well, I mean, no strong opinions on that. Yeah, I agree with Veronica that we should have at least Adolfo.
Yeah. So as long as there are leads involved, I think that it's, and Sasha can review the results when he's back.
Yeah, then I guess you can reach out to us at some point when you're ready, and we can jump on a
We
call
just
and
send a
figure it
doodle.
out.
We just send a doodle and get it going.
Sounds good. Let me know if any help is needed.
All right, I think I can just send, well, we can meet offline and discuss administrative tasks, but yeah.
Okay, and thank you very much for doing this work, and these charts are definitely amazing. Let's
Yeah,
see if
no
we
worries.
can take some data from them. Okay, any final questions about this topic, maybe?
I'll collect the notes
Okay.
from the chat for the invite list and all that, so thanks.
Thank you. Then I left one topic quickly, and it is about the EKS probability cluster stability issues. I just want to do a heads up, especially to the SIG release team, that we are aware of the issue that a lot of jobs are failing with the error that pod got deleted unexpectedly. And we actually managed to triage that issue, and we are in contact with AWS support. We found a way to mitigate this issue. I will be working on a fix today and tomorrow, and once the fix is applied, then you shouldn't see that error any longer. There is a link in the agenda that you can follow for information about when do we apply the fix. And just so that you know, if you are following the test grid and you're seeing jobs failing with this error, this is nothing to worry about. This is kind of a flake, more like infrastructure flake. So just feel to retry the job or whatever is needed. And with that, we are actually at the end of the agenda. Do you folks have anything to discuss that's not on the agenda? Okay, then
I have just a quick one. So I asked a question on our Slack channel about dropping support in our release tooling for Windows 386. And the majority of opinion seems to be we don't need to run Grail in an all Windows laptop. So probably, yeah, I'll start, removing support for those. Doesn't mean that we're affecting anything that we're releasing and building for those platforms, just for our tooling. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So +1 from my side. Okay, anything else before we close the meeting? Okay, I wish you all a nice week and see you next week. Bye-bye.